Howdy, folks. Welcome back. Here we are at October 23rd of 2022, and we got some craziness going on over here. I'm going to let this loop play for a minute here. Doesn't look like much, but when I start pointing stuff out, you're going to go, oh, I didn't notice that. So let's let this loop play for a second. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I want you to look at this event that goes on over here. You see this little separation event? There was no CME. It just starts out here in the middle of nowhere, separates into two directions. See that right there? And then you see this big, huge bow shock wave like it's a CME, but nothing erupted off the sun. It originates right here and goes two different directions. So we'll be going through that one. We have another object down here. Sorry, let me scroll down. We have another object caught in the CME down here. And this one right here, this little object down there. And then something that's even cooler, my favorite little thing is happening over on this side. And I want you to watch this flow go over this object and like water running over a rock. It's obviously painting there's an object here as that flow goes over it. So we'll go into depth frame by frame on each one of these. So let that loop finish playing here, and then we'll pause it here at the very beginning and start going frame by frame. So back up to the very first frame. Here we are at 024. This is our opening frame here. Hello, folks. Welcome into the chat. Thank you for coming. All right, so here's our opening frame, 024. We have an object right here, and apparently two of them, one up here and one here. They're right next to each other. And as they move on out, here I'll zoom in on this last little frame right here where we got a good image of this. Here's our object, this darker circle inside its own little like magnetic field here. If I scooch this out of the way, you can see there's a separate bubble right here too. So let me back up a little bit. I think that's the opening frame. Yeah, that's the opening frame right here. See, there's a black circle right in here on this frame. So it appears we have an object here with its little magnetic bubble, and then one down here with its magnetic bubble. And they're moving out of frame just as this opens up. So now let's zoom back out. And move this over. There we go. And as we go forward, that was our first event, okay? And then as we proceed here, we have this next event right here. Now it starts right about here, and look, there's no CME in this area right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go zoom in on this area real quick here and get that the main focus of our frame. Now, as I progress forward, watch this area right here. There's no CME or anything going on, but watch as this object splits. We got one going down and one going up. And they continue apart. So back it up. They come together. Okay, there's nothing there. Then as we go forward, out of nowhere, they just split and go in separate directions. As this one moving away, it appears to have a nice little round circular shape to it and a little core in it. So I think that's this object puncturing one of these levels, these magnetic fields that, wrap around the sun. I believe there's probably bands that are stronger closer towards the surface, and when this hits one of those outer shells, it makes a splash. And that's what we're seeing, is one of these objects hit one of those outer shells, making a small splash as it continues out of frame, and the ejecta goes in two different directions. So one more time here. Boom, you see that separating and going in two different directions. All right, so let's zoom back out now. And as that proceeds, then, here, while we're here, this image right here. Now, we got all these little streaks going through there again, but I've been looking at them closely, and none of them are parallel. Usually, some of these streaks go all the way through. We don't get to see the beginning or the end of it. Here we get to see the whole tail, the tail and the beginning of all these little streaks right here. But they're all at different angles. These ones up top here are close to parallel, but it seems that this lower one is going off at a slightly different angle. Okay, this one's going at a different angle. This one over here is at a different angle. And then this one, pull this over here. This one over here seems to almost arc a little tiny bit. There's a little tiny arc in it. It doesn't look totally straight like the rest of them, and it's at a different angle. So I don't believe this is debris just flying through the screen. These look like little ships jetting through there at different angles. And, you know, we've seen all sorts of stuff zipping around in the background here. So there was that interesting frame right there. Usually there's, you know, if it's debris, they're all flowing in the same direction, like we've seen plenty of times before. So as we continue on, now there's this event and this event happening at the same time. But we're going to focus on this one first here. So as it pops out, you can see here's our instrument reacting. Here's an object right in here, and it looks like it's a cluster maybe again. But as we move forward, you can see that this one down here, we'll move backward right here. There's a good shot of it right there. Let me zoom in real hard on this. And scroll up so you guys can see it. All right, here's our little object right here. And you can see it has a small little bow shock on the back of plasma hitting the back that's streaking behind it. And you can see it moving out. And back it up a little bit right there. Go forward again. Okay, so you can clearly see there's an object right there. There appears to be maybe some other little ones trailing with it in this cluster here. But that one's the clearest one you can see right there, and possibly this one behind it there. Okay, so there was this incident. Now, if we back out of here, I want to go over and visit this little event over on this side, because this is my favorite. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. And when we start zooming in on it, you'll see what I mean here. So let me get the right spot right here. Okay. Try to pull this out of the frame a little bit. Now, as we start to go forward here, we're going forward here. Our event's going to come out down here. Wait, maybe I went too far. Okay, it's this one right here. All right, so here's our first little eruption with our instrument reacting to it. Okay, here's our little black object as it's coming out. Now, this little circular object, we're going to have plasma going over it and flowing over it and then down. Do you see how that came down and did an S shape as we go backwards? Okay, you see that? How it goes over it and down. Back up. Okay, it's going over an object that's right here, just like a rock in the river with water flowing over it. You can clearly see that this motion is painting this object. It's flowing right over it. Okay, so I'm going to back up a little bit. There's a good spot, I guess, to maybe zoom a little harder on this. Pull it up. Nope. Pull it back down. Right here is our object, and you can see there's like a little sheath of plasma going around it right here, but this is our object. And as we go backward, you can see that flow go right over it and then down and then streak out. That's plasma going over this object faster than it's moving out, and it goes over and then comes down and straightens out again. So it does a total S maneuver over that object, and other plasma flows over it too. See that white streak right before it? Watch this white streak flow over it, and then the black streak coming right behind it there. Totally painting that there's an object right there. Okay, it's hard to see the object, but it's that flow that gives it away. Let me see if we pull it up a little bit better. Here we go. Oops, oops, oops. Get it more on the screen here for you guys to see. All right. Okay, here it comes out from here again one more time. This little round object's coming out slower than the plasma is flowing over it. Okay, so as we back up there again, go in reverse, one more time forward. Alright, so now you guys see that there's all kinds of crazy activity going on here. It's not normal CME activity on the sun. So let me put this back into motion here again for you guys. Let's go forward. Yeah, there we go. And just let it flow for a minute and watch this event, this little separation event. Here comes an object right here. We have the flow going over this one over here. So 3 different events with 3 different objects, all here in the same day. Multiple objects. I would say there's more than 3 because there looks like there's more than one here. So a couple in there, this one, and then this one here. So I just wanted to bring that to you guys because this is some very unusual activity, you know, and it's usually some kind of new surprise or something. And here's this thing. We've seen this a couple of times, but there's no explanation for what's going on right there. My theory is that this object hit some part of the coronosphere, another shell, a magnetic shell, you know, that's a little stronger, and when it hits it, it splashes like a rock skipping off of water, almost like a meteorite skipping off our atmosphere. This would be like a outer ring right here, and it kind of skips off and leaves a splash or something. That's what I think's going on there. Oh, there was one last thing I saw here that I wanted to report on, and it's at the very, very end here. It's this little black object appears from right here and drops in. So let me go zoom in on that real quick too for you guys, because boom, see that thing just drop in there? It appears out of nowhere. It appears right here and then drops in. Boom. And that was the last few frames of this day. Here's this big separation event again. Let me pull over just a little bit here. There we go. So watch this little CME just start out of nowhere, right about here, and just separate and go 2 different ways. Boom. Yeah, NASA, I want to see you explain that, huh? Yeah, and then we got this thing just appearing out of nowhere and dropping right in. We got all kinds of flow going in, stuff coming out. Let me scroll down real quick if it'll let me here, please. There's my arrow. To these events down here real quick, the flow going over this object. This one's my favorite. Boom, you can just totally see the flow going over that. And then stuff going in too. Yep, see that retreat of stuff going back in? Oh, you know what? There was something else too to report on while we're here. Let's go back a day, because yesterday was a little crazy too, and let that load up. There's those streaks going through that I was talking about before. Here's a sun-diving comet coming in. There's 2 of them actually in that frame. As this loads up, and there appears to be another object that causes CME there. This time the flow goes backwards on that one too. So multiple things going on in this one too. And maybe we'll just do a full report on this while we're here. Let me just pause it at the first frame. Boom, right around there. It looks, yeah, it's first opening frames. All right, so there's not much going on right there. As we go on, here's the streaks that I'm talking about. Usually they cross the whole screen. That other one had just little segmental ones where you could see the beginning and the end of them. So then we have this first CME coming off down here. We have an object in there causing it. This big blast up here. These 2 sun-diving comets, I think. Oh no, yeah, they did capture the first one. There's the first little one right there. Let me pull this up and zoom in. You guys cannot see this. Alright, there we go. So here's our first sundiver coming in. It fades. Here's the second one right behind it. It follows. They're right together on the same trajectory. That was probably a fragment from this bigger one that was right in front of it. We'll back up a little again. It's not often that you get to see 2 of them straight in a line like that. Boom. Boom. Two good old sun divers going right in that area. Now let's zoom back out. Pan down a little bit. Continue on. So there's our first little object and event. Our two sun diving comets come in. Oh, wait, here's our first opening event right here. Boom. Then our two little sun divers. Something going on up here. There looks to be something dark right in that area. See, that one didn't capture much. Okay, but as we continue on, there was another CME down here below. As those two sun divers go in, then there's this second CME with an object captured right in there. And then this flow. So here we are. Our objects coming out, it's all flowing this way, and then watch how it rips in two, and the other half of the flow goes back into the sun. That's what another one of these like similar separation events. So here we are with our object causing a CME, it's coming out, and then as it like snaps loose from this magnetic field or grip, the rest of this material like retreats back. So let's go backward and forward just a couple of times with that one, because that's another good event right there that I've never seen one of these snap back like that. So boom. So we're having some strange CMEs, some weird activity, and I believe it's these objects that are causing these CMEs and causing this weird, all this activity, craziness. And we just had a sun diver just a couple of days before this come in at the same trajectory. So I'm wondering if we've got a little debris field, something in this vicinity, going to be striking the sun some more, possibly. All right. So that was it. Let's go back and we'll leave you guys with today's loop and close out with that. There's our first CME, this little occurrence, this little object dropping in up there. It might not load up. Well, that's it for tonight anyways, guys. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next video, bye.